Oh, hello. We're in a different position. Let's try that. That works. Howdy, everybody. The wonders of technology. Sorry, we're a fraction late, but we're going to blame Mark for that.
Sorry, guys. Legal difficulties.
We talked last week about him having a second screen, etc., so that he could share information and bits and pieces. And of course, Mark, being the wonderful IT person that he is, has a Mac. So I won't hold it against him, but effectively, he had to go racing off and get himself a screen. So he's gone and invested in a screen and brought it all home and plugged it in and realized he needed a Thunderbolt cable to make it work. So the last minute, he dashed off to go and buy himself a Thunderbolt cable. Expensive business, this IT stuff. How much that cable cost you?
It was $126.
$126 for a cable. There you go. And all that did was plug into his Mac and then into the monitor, and that was it.
And I thought I'd done so well. I'd got a heaps good deal on a monitor, and I'd bought the right connections for the hubs and that, so I was going to save a little bit of money. And then when I got it all home, all the money I'd saved, I had to go and spend it all on my lightning cable. And unfortunately, I asked the bloke, I was like, "Is that seriously the cheapest one you have?" And he goes, "That is the only one we have."
So you're lucky they even had that. So yeah.
No choice.
Excellent. So at the start of the show, you would have seen a little thing that we put up there, which was showing about the wonderful competition that's being run on the Voice of Freedom. So this is not an in-paid ad for YouTube, if you're wondering. This is actually our business, so we're promoting ourselves. But effectively over on the Voice of Freedom merch store, which is merch.vofhq.com, there is a lottery there that is supporting the wonderful donkey sanctuary that we are currently looking after here. With this particular thing, it's like $2 if you buy a ticket, or if you buy 10 of them, it's $20. And if everybody buys 10, it's like 1 in a 75 chance of winning. So, yeah, is $750 going to suit? Is that going to make your life a little better? Just a thought process. Anyway, that's my promo for today. So we've done that. It's over there. It seems to be going quite well. Once that lottery finishes, it will literally roll over and start again. And the idea is that the funds that we get out of there are going off to help FBN, Carl, and the Donkey Sanctuary, especially seeing they're in the middle of trying to raise enough funds to buy another or to build a float so that they can go and collect the donkeys that need it. But very interesting story. So if you want to go and watch last Friday night's viewing on that, that would be something that may be of interest to you. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about a few things today. And one is that we're going to sort of try and explain how wallets work and bits and pieces. We're also going to see if Mark can share his screen, which is the whole reason why we did this. So Mark's going to bring us up to date a little bit on the news and stuff that he's been keeping tabs on. And I will let him come to the stage now and see how he goes. Mark, she's all yours, mate.
Ooh, this is going to be interesting. We'll see how we go. I suppose there's just been a few things going on. There's been one of the really interesting things today, which might be getting a little bit far ahead of where people are up to at the moment, was there was an announcement from the Hedera Foundation, which is another blockchain that's out there called Hedera, or Hedera Hashgraph. They have announced that they are going to there is an Australian digital dollar stablecoin that is now being released as of today on the Hedera Hashgraph Foundation blockchain. It's not an official coin from the government, though it is a foundation coin from an Australian foundation that's been organised. I can't remember exactly. I'm trying to, if we want to share can I share my screen? I'll go to figure it all out here, guys. Do you just throw more? What are we looking at there? We're looking at this one. Beautiful. All right. So currently if we scroll down here, we've got that we can say that we're excited to announce that the AUDD, the Australian Digital Dollar Stablecoin, has officially launched and on the Hedera network. Through this integration, we are looking forward to driving digital payments through the APAC and beyond. Basically, what this is starting to do is just it's bringing the fiat world into the cryptocurrency world. This is going to be one other avenue of using a stablecoin where people will be able to process payments or basically trade value over the blockchain by just converting a digital currency, whatever that digital currency may be, into the stablecoin, and then you can pay people with a stablecoin. So you'll see more people out there starting to accept stablecoins and things like that as this moves forward. That was one of the big ones that's come out. That was just today that I saw this one was out today. I need to give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit unorganized because of our problems that we had. Where are we? We had a little bit. Oh, the other news that's a big one, which I should be able to quickly search for us and find some news. We have had the Genius Act in America has passed. This has also got to do with stablecoins. So the Senate in America has voted, and they've passed the Genius Act, which basically is legalizing stablecoins, bringing in regulation and allowing institutions and banks to now buy stablecoin, and technically will be a precursor to all the cryptocurrencies. They will most likely, this is going to help cryptocurrencies like XRP, XLM, Hedera, Hashgraph, because you'll find the US government, you'll find other governments, other companies, other institutions will be buying treasuries and bonds that back these stablecoins. And the stablecoins themselves are processed on the ledgers on XLM, XRP, on whatever one they happen to choose. But this is it's going to be a big driving point from going from 0 to 100 in the next probably 5 years. I'd say we're going to see cryptocurrency and stablecoin really start coming in into our society and being used. And this is probably the biggest driver recently for legislation that's come through. It's American, but that'll push around most of the rest of the world. Feel free to jump in, Vince, whenever you want.
I thought I'd just hide in the background there. It's nice to see we've got a massive audience of 5 people watching us, which is great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
Saturday night.
We went up to 7. Just as I said that. So, hello, Sandy K. Hello, Margot. It's nice to see you guys here. Yeah, new haircut for Mark. I noticed that too when he came on. I thought, what? It's a different person. But they replaced him with a clone. So maybe that's what's going on.
I'm almost regretting it. It's so cold with no hair on my head.
So let's just go back to this view so everybody can admire that wonderful haircut. Right? So was that a go down and get it paid for at the barbershop job, or was that?
It was. She normally does a really good job. We just maybe going a little bit too short this time, but it's okay. It'll grow back.
It'll grow back, go to its fluffy mess. So did you pay in crypto?
No. She was cash. She even sent me a message, said, please bring cash because my FPOS is down. So there you go. There's a bit of a thing
really?
there. for the system. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Doesn't always.
That's an issue with anything, even crypto. All right, if it's down, like if you can't access the network, then what? Cash is still king. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah.
Gold is still there, silver is still there. They're the precious metals that you can hang on to. So all that. Now, I must remember to say that anything that you hear in this show is not financial advice. We are just two crypto heads talking about crypto and how things, bits and pieces work. G'day, Jake. Welcome aboard, mate. Nice to see you. Wear a beanie, Mark. We'll keep that head warm.
I had to put my hood on. I was walking around with my hood on all night. And even it wasn't warm enough.
Hey, we could do that. We could call this the hoodie show.
So, the hoodie.
Sorry. Just clowning around as we normally do. So some of the stuff that I want to talk tonight about is I did say something last week about particular things to do with putting out seed phrases and stuff on comments. I'm going to fill out a bit more about that because it's actually a scam, and I will let you know how that sort of thing works. With that also, we were going to talk about wallets, and we're going to talk about a bull market and a bear market. And I'm actually going to set up a couple of wallets online live. Don't worry, guys. You won't be able to steal money from them because they will be empty. One I might transfer a little bit of Doge into just to show you how it works. But effectively, once we're out of the show, that'll be disappearing and gone again. Now, to do that, all right, I'm going to bring myself up and add this to the stage, I hope. Hang on, what's it telling me here? Before presenting the screen, remove the other media from the stream. Oh, I have to remove that one. That's what happened, even though I put us in a different picture. But still learning StreamYard, the wonderful things that go on. So what I have done here, guys, is I've set up a screen for you guys to have a look at. And I was looking for, I'll go over here and go full screen. That's better. All right, so this is a brand new virtual machine that we've just set up and got running for you. And wanted to talk a little bit about wallets, which I'll come back to, but also wanted to talk about pricing and how things work. Put that off the end of there. That's interesting. I had that page there 2 seconds ago. Now it's disappeared on me.
This is the good thing about live streams that I watch all the time is that they're always there's lots of crap going on in the background and people don't really know what's going on. And I like it because it just adds to the authenticity.
Well, you can't get more truthful than being live, can you? If you're going to step in it, you step in it properly. Yeah. So this gives you a little bit of thing. This one's done through a place called TradingView, and its data only goes back to about 2017. But this shows you the price on Bitcoin and what's happened to Bitcoin over a while. So back in 2017, you could buy a Bitcoin for around about, so I saw somewhere down there, let's go to the bottom of that one, for around about $4,000. So that's what, 9 years ago, right? You could buy a Bitcoin for $4,000. Over that last 9 years, it's got up here as high as $110,000, $109,000. Now, guys, this is in American dollars. This is not Australian dollars. All right. So if you bought one Bitcoin back there for 4, 9 years later, it's worth this much. That's like $105,000 profit. What are you doing, Mark? I'm dumping on each side of the screen.
Sorry.
So it's just reloaded. Yes, yes, it has finally. Great. So this is a place called CoinMarketCap, and CoinMarketCap's been around for a very, very long time. And it's very similar to what I showed last week, where you've got all of the various coins and stuff that you can get to. This shows right back here in 2012 when Bitcoin first started. All right. No, down red lights. Come on, get out of the way. Show me that. All right. And, at one stage, Bitcoin was worth $1, or it was less than that, like 40 cents, but I can't go back that far because it won't let me do it. But this is the show of the cryptocurrency and how things have grown over time. Oh, I forgot to turn off my email. I'll have to do that in a minute. All right. And you can see it goes up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'll just go and close that while I think about it. These are sections there called bull markets and bear markets. So if we were to zoom in on just this section here, I don't know if it's going to let me. No, it's not. Actually, it will if I do it this way, I think. 2012. And if I go back to here, we can see here where the mean average price was. And this is called a bear market, where it's in the red. All right, and then it starts to climb up and goes into a bull market. Now, most people understand, in crypto at least, that the bull markets and the bear markets tend to cycle every 4 or so years. So that little price change that we saw was that section just there, right? There would have been another one that's in 2016, so you can see a little bit. If I zoomed in on that, it would be a lot higher.
Give me one
if
second.
we go along a bit further, here is the 2018 market, and here we can see it got to $17,000 odd at its peak. Right, but if we come on and we keep going and we get to the 22 market, look at how small the 2018 market looked. All right, we keep going along a little bit further. There's 2022, where we can see it got up to 64,000, I think, there. So what we had was a bull market, a big drop in cryptocurrency, a big bear market that went for about 2 years or so, and then we start coming back into a bull market. Right around here, this is a bit of a glitch in the matrix, because guess when that was? If I can get it down there, 2021. What happened in 2021, people? I'm not mentioning a particular word because it'll probably get us banned if I say.
Yeah.
But yeah. Right. So that caused a major fluctuation in the market there. But once again, it peaked back out here, and then it goes back down into a bear market. So we've been sitting in a bear market all this time through here, and now we're coming back into what is called another bull market. Now, people try to estimate and guesstimate when this bull market's going to end. Some think it's going to be around the end of the year. Some think it's going to be over very shortly. It may be over or go crazy or whatever, totally depending on what happens in the world over the next few weeks. And why would you think that would be, Mark?
Because of a nice big war that they're trying to start. It's hopefully not going to take off, but it looks like they're gonna keep dropping bombs. So hopefully we don't see too much. But yeah, the Iran-Israel war will be the next big reason.
So I've heard some news about that. They reckon that, and if you look at the oil markets, which I can't pull up for you now, but apparently the price for barrel of oil is coming back up to its trend line. And if it breaks that, it'll be because of the war. And they're expecting that oil market will be a bit of a problem. Right? One has to wonder, though, because you get some news says if this war goes ahead, right, the US won't be able to compete because it will lose access to all the oil and all that sort of stuff. Well, will it? Because they have tons of oil under their country. So one has to wonder about that. Is that a bit of fear mongering or what's going on? So the next couple of weeks are going to be very interesting in the market. There's also another chart that I saw that shows the trend line for stocks and how it's been going over the last few years, like since about 2008 when everything went in the wrong shape. Actually, I think the line was earlier than that. But what it does is it shows whenever it seems to hit this peak on the trend line going up, and I'll try and explain what a trend line is. That is a trend line. All right, so basically it's picking the bottom of it every time it peaks.
I think it's still
following it through.
I think we're still on the screen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It might help if I showed it, wouldn't it? Yeah. That's silly of me. So I need to go back to that one. Right. So that is a trend mark. And I should take that beanie off. Sorry, I'm trying to do 400 things at once. So this here is a trend line. Right. You can see this one starts at 2017 and goes through. So it gives you a bit of an idea. Now, the stock market has a trend line like this as well. And it seems that every time it hits that top of that trend line, it tends to do a big plump and a big plump. And it just hit the top of the trend line again. Backed off a fraction and went back up again. So it's doing a double touch. Does this mean that we're going to end up with a major stock crash? Because the last time it did that, it dropped 20 to 30%. So, and of course, in all fairness, in some cases, Bitcoin will go up relative to that because people are fearful and they put their money into what they think is a safe haven, and Bitcoin being the safe haven at this stage of the game. Or will Bitcoin also go down with it? I'm not a trader. I'm not going to be able to tell you. So, but it's just interesting to know.
Yeah, hopefully, with any luck, we might see that break of the 4-year cycle that they talk about, where there's a bit of a debate out there now where people are saying because of the utility coming in to the market or into the sector, where we've got XRP and XLM and Hedera Hashgraph was a good example today of real world utility where they're taking these things out into the real world and getting results from countries and institutions. We might see the end of the 4-year cycle where instead of speculation driving the cycle, where it's just people kind of pumping, dumping, or just saying this is going to do this or this is going to do that. Now we're actually going to see things actually do what they're supposed to do. And we might see the war drive prices out of the traditional markets into the cryptocurrency markets, possibly, where if people might start to see Bitcoin, especially as it's been touted as a store of wealth, you might see people seeing that as a real store of wealth and not just buying gold or silver or metals, but also going into the Bitcoin market. Or we could see the complete opposite, where I'm not sure where they put their money, but they're definitely not buying anything. So they're not going to be pumping the markets. And you might see them sell into cash or sell into, I'm not sure what assets they do. I don't know what rich people sell into all the time. I'm not rich. But you might see that effect come into where you'll see them go, we don't like what's going on. We don't like uncertainty. We're getting out. But technically, the idea of the crypto market and the crypto sector has always been to build the next thing next to the old system that is kind of crumbling, build a new one that's coming up. And hopefully we might see, I don't know if this war is going to be the catalyst or what, but you might see some people going into that market because they think that is secure now. But time will tell. Flip the coin. Coin toss. It's a coin toss. I can't hear you, Vince.
That's because I muted myself because I was going to cough, and I didn't want the two people watching. Hello, the two people watching, to hear me cough. So, okay, well, I mean, if nobody watches, I don't care. We're still going to have fun chatting and talking about. Maybe they can view it later. Part of the other thing that we were going to look at doing was talking a bit about crypto wallets. Now, there's three main type of crypto wallets that are out there. There is your contain on device wallet, which means your mobile phone or your computer. Then there's what is called a web wallet, which means you can access it through a browser. And then there is a hardware wallet, which I don't own one, but I know somebody who does. Andy Mythskew.
And I just
Where's your hardware wallet? There it is.
Right here. Can you see it?
You need to put it in front of your face. Take it away from the camera and go back. There you go.
There you go. I'll bring
That's it
there. Can you? Is that focused enough?
Disappears. Back a fraction. That's it. There it is.
Perfect.
So the difference between the hardware wallet and the other two wallets is what, Mark?
This one isn't connected to the internet unless I connect it to the internet. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, this one. So this one's called a cold wallet. So it isn't. It can sit in your safe. You can dig a big deep hole and bury it in the big deep hole, and nobody can get to your cryptocurrency because it's not connected to the internet. All the other wallets are called hot wallets. So they're technically, if they're on your computer or someone can kind of just access it by getting through your machine or whatever, your phone, then that's a hot wallet. And they're the wallets that are on your phone and on your computer. So yeah, that one is a Ledger Nano X. I think they're about, it's maybe about 200 or 180 bucks on special, or 200 bucks around that. But I just haven't. It's still literally got the wrapping on it. I haven't opened it yet because the other wallets I use are pretty secure, and I haven't got a big bad safe to put this thing in. So if I put it all on that, and then someone broke into my house and stole it, then I'd be in a bit of trouble. So, but I mean, that's what seed phrases are for as well too. But it's I got to get a big safe, and then I might use it.
Right. Well, in that big beautiful room that's not really yours in the background. So yeah.
Yeah. How can I not have a safe in this mansion?
Yeah. So, but effectively, that's part of it. But most people who are getting into crypto don't really want to go to that extreme of having that hard wallet. I mean, if you had 12, Bitcoin or a few 100,000 XRP or Doge or any of those newer, older type coins that have retained their value, then yes, it may be worth it. It's very much like putting your silver or your gold in the safe. Cold wallet is that safe, effectively. Okay. Now, with that, let me bring us back onto screen. We'll go here. All right. This is from CoinLedger, and you can find a fair amount of stuff. I need to take that off the side there. You can find a fair amount of stuff that is out there retaining to crypto, but this actually says the best 11 crypto wallets for June, right, of 2025. So you can't get much more recent than this article. All right. And what they do is they actually go through it and specify what the types of wallets are. Now, Coinbase has its own wallet. It's good for beginners and it's free. And it will support up to 1,000 different blockchains. Now, what I mean by support up to 1,000 different blockchains, each blockchain has its own ledger and its own bits and pieces. And what the wallet does is it connects to that blockchain and reads the information from that blockchain. Right? So your wallet is really just a container that holds the keys to each of the blockchains. Right? and it has the public key and your private keys in that wallet. So you need to be very careful, and I'll hopefully be able to explain that a little bit later. MetaMask, it reckons it's best for Ethereum, which is really where most of MetaMask is about. We'll go into what Ethereum is and what tokens are a lot later in another show, because that's just complicated. Not to mention if you're trying to show anything expensive. Phantom or Solana is another free wallet. Rabby, which is one I've not actually heard about. It's a user interface, but apparently Rabby is pretty good. Along with Gardenia, Trust Wallet, Exodus, which is one of the ones that I use. There's Ledger, right? So these are free. Ledger hardware wallet, $79, all right? Or a Tesla hardware wallet for $49. Supports over 5,000 cryptocurrencies and supports over 1,000 cryptocurrencies, in case you're wondering. And what this little price screen does is it goes through and tells you about each one of the various wallets that there are, and you know what's their selection, what their rating, etc. is. Now, which one is it? Coinbase wallet. It goes through, it says it allows you to buy directly from Coinbase, transfer your crypto into your from your Coinbase account. So it's a wallet that you are controlling. MetaMask is a web browser wallet as well. So that means that you access it from the web browser. The Phantom is also the same. And I'm going to try and show you both, or I'll show you a MetaMask wallet set up, hopefully. Then we've got some of these down here: CryptoCon on-chain, Trust Wallet, Exodus. The interesting thing about the Exodus is that it is also compatible with hardware wallets. So you can use your Exodus to actually transfer to your hardware wallet, Zengo, etc. Now, how does a wallet work? Effectively, like this. I came prepared today. Well, it was a mad rush, but I came prepared. So each of these, we can see here, let me go and actually get out of that and try and pick an arrow or something, or a pencil. Pencil will do. Right? So each of these here, right, is a blockchain. So we have Bitcoin blockchain, an ETH blockchain, and a Doge blockchain. So what happens is that I go and download a wallet or get one that's online through a web browser. We're creating a special little area on that web browser and on their Exodus chain that stores our information. Now, if we want to go and purchase some BTC, or we've got some BTC from an exchange or something, what we would do is we go into that exchange and into their BTC wallet, right? And we would transfer it to Exodus over here. Then the next time that we opened up the Exodus is actually created on the BTC blockchain a ledger for us with its own encrypted ID, etc. Right? So it would go and it would talk here and say how much money is in that particular spot on the ledger. All right, how many BTC is in it? This would then return back to Exodus. I should have done that with red, telling the Exodus program exactly how much is in there. All right. If we then want to transfer some of that money off to Mark, what I would do is in here, I would put in Mark's information. And because the Exodus has both my public key and my private key, I would then be allowed to send that. So it would send a message saying, I want to send this much money, and here is my public key, here is my private key, and here is my password to authorize that. And this wallet would go, oh, yep, no worries. Everything matches. That's good. And boof, off goes the money to Mark. right? It does the same thing for an ETH wallet. It does the same thing for a Doge wallet, right? So theoretically, your money is not actually in the wallet. Your money is still on the blockchain, but the keys to the door are in the wallet. Does that make sense? Right? So that's what Exodus does. That's what a lot of the wallets do. They contain the keys, not the actual physical area that where it's stored. It's sort of like a bank vault. When you go into a bank vault and you get one of those little drawers that you pull out, right? First, you've got to get into the bank vault. So that's your public key. Then you get actually into the bank vault and you go to your drawer and then you put in your private key. And the other guy goes and gets the password key, click, and then you've got access to your safety deposit box. That's exactly the same principle that's being used here, right? So I thought I'd try and explain that. That's a bit of a layman's version of how that actually works. I hope I'm not talking above everybody's head. All four of you guys, did any of that make sense to the four of you who are watching?
Surely. It's very simple. That's what I think people think. That's what I was saying to you before we came on, that people think this stuff's really, really complicated. And at the back end, if you were designing it, yeah, it is. But the usability of it, the reason why they're bringing it, or they're going to bring it in, and part of it is the usability of it. It's because it's making things easier, not only for us, but for institutions and stuff. So they need it to be seamless. They need it to be the interfaces that we have on our phones and on our computers aren't confusing. It's all very easy. If you've ever scanned a QR code, you can use cryptocurrency and send cryptocurrency. It's scanning a code and then pressing the send button that on the app I have is literally the same as an email. It looks the little arrow is exactly the same as your email button. So it's not foreign at all. It's just people need to get their head around the technology and what it is, and kind of understand that, yes, if it was a CBDC and the government had all your details, they could control things, but that's not what these things are. These aren't government controlled things. They're decentralized blockchain.
Yeah, these are not owned or operated by the government. Right, so that's one thing. Here is the actual Exodus wallet, and you can see there's a desktop version, there's a mobile version that you can get, and there's also a web version that you can use as well. I haven't looked into the web version. I might have to check that one out. But in this situation, I'm going to show you, or I'm going to download the Exodus wallet, and I'm going to download it from my Windows emulator here, and we shall pull that down, hopefully fairly quickly. It's going to take a little while to come down. And we're going to set that up because that's going to take us through the processes of setting up a wallet and show us our seed phrases, which I want to see. So everybody in public is going to see the seed phrases for here. I don't care because this wallet will be destroyed after I'm finished with it. So now the interesting thing though, if I destroy the wallet, does the keys that I used to create this wallet on the various blockchains, do they get destroyed? The answer is no, because remember I said that the ledger is permanent, right? And as soon as I create an entry into that ledger is mine. That part of that ledger is mine. So when I create a key in this and connect it to the blockchain to transfer Bitcoin or XRP or whatever, so if I did XRP, I say I want to put some XRP in this wallet, then the wallet generates that on the ledger. Bang, I can then transfer money into that wallet on the ledger, and this thing will talk to it. And are we down? Almost. I know it says done. Okay, let's do that. Sorry if it's running a little slow, guys. It is a virtual machine. Oh, there we go. Now it's done. You're going to open for me? that up. Let me minimize this. And we shall run it. So this is installing the Exodus wallet. Installation failed. There was an error. Oh, really? Ah. Interesting. And we try again and see what happens.
Have you got a Mac, Vince?
No, mate, no. Right.
Just what every time
had to have a shot, didn't you? You just had to have a shot. Okay, so basically there it is. I have created an Exodus wallet. I think it might have been because I had it partly open from the Chrome. All right, so there is my Exodus wallet. It's been installed, but it's not been activated yet. All right, so let's go and activate it. Starting your journey. Here is our wallet. It's been a while since I've played with one of these, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of quick learning along with you guys.
It's pretty simple. That's a good. There's not a lot on there to worry about, but yeah, it's pretty simple.
Except for how easy was that for me to open up this wallet?
Yeah, that's the.
It's like okay. Anybody gets on your computer, they have access to your crypto. Well, they don't.
You haven't set it up yet. You haven't set all your. Yeah, that's the.
Right. So sync devices, personalize, etc., and so on. So we can set the currency here to whatever we want. AUD. Do various portfolios. There's not much that I want to do there. Security. Auto lock. All right, and here is where I can create a password for auto lock. Now, once I've done this, is going to mean the next time I log into this wallet, I'm going to need to put the password in. All right. I'm actually quite surprised. It should have taken me through another setting. So what is going on here? Yeah, advertisement. Great, thanks. Oh, that was the wrong button.
It definitely won't let you send any funds or anything like that to your wallet without setting up your seed phrase and your passwords and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had it on my. I've just had it for years, so I haven't had to go through this step for a while.
All right, and that allows us to do swapping, buy and sell, rewards, etc.
Which swapping, guys, I'd be, if you do get to the point where you've got some tokens in your wallet and you want to go, I want to swap this one for that one, you're probably best to not do it on the Exodus platform or any wallet platform for that matter. You'll be better you'll get better value if you kind of go to an exchange. You'll get hit with what they call slippage on these. Well, you'll get hit with that on the exchanges too, but you'll get hit with it worse on the wallet. So they'll say, we'll trade you, we're going to give you this much, and then by the time it hits your wallet, it's a lot less than what you thought it was because they couldn't quite acquire the coins at the prices that they said they could. But sorry, Vince, continue.
Hey, you're right. You're doing good.
What's your password, Vince?
Dot.
Come on, you can trust me, Vince.
I hope I got that right.
Yeah, dot.
Let's do it again. I forgot one, that's why. Next. Repeat it. It's happy now. Got a little green tick. Yay. Right, now, for your eyes only, right, this is the seed phrase. Never share your secret phrase with anybody. You can use it to steal your funds at any time. View it privately with no cameras around. All right, sorry, guys, that's the end of the show. No, only kidding. I understand completely. Right, and I go view secret phrase. Right, and now I click this show, and there is my secret phrase numbers. For all you people who want to access this wallet, go for it. Right, what you should do, though, is theoretically is take a picture or copy these down in their exact order. Don't get the spelling wrong. Right, and I'm actually going to take a picture of that. So I need snippet tool.
And yeah, people might be asking, what is a seed phrase? A seed phrase is usually 12 words, random words from the English language that you'll get: bucket, umbrella, hat, shoe, duck. They've just got to be written in the right order. And that's your seed phrase. People think that's not very secure, maybe, but if you could pick 12 random words out of the English language and get them right in order, you'd be doing pretty well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And that actually just brings us into another part, which I'll show you in a minute. Phrase. Can't spell. Look at that. It's a phase, not a phrase. I told you I can't spell. IT people don't know how to spell, right? They have computers that do that for them. So there we go. We have my seed phrase. I'm happy with that. I've got that recorded somewhere now. And it's done. Now it wants me to check my seed phrase. So why is it doing this? Mark, you want to tell us?
Well, it's got to make sure you've got it right. Make sure that you copied it down correctly. So once you click the button and say, yes, I have, that if you then put a whole heap of funds on your wallet and then your computer blows up, you lose your computer, whatever, you have to use this seed phrase to then bring your account back to life on another computer. If you get your seed phrase wrong, then all your funds are gone. It doesn't, and nobody can never get it back. Nobody else gets this code. So you have to make sure that you do this part correctly, and that it's measure twice, cut once. I'd measure 3 times, 4 times, and cut once on this kind of stuff.
Okay, so what it's asking here, check your paper. What word is the 4th word in our seed phrase? So we look here, our 4th word is whale. So we will click whale and click done. Right. So now we've got there's a recovery phrase and an Exodus password. So what's a recovery phrase? For your eyes only. Use secret phrases. Unlock your wallet, because I already put a password in, didn't I? So now I have to type that one in again. Make sure I don't word it as I do it.
Dot, 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 dot.
Dot, 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 dot. Right. And if we check that, it should match that. And it does. So we're all good there. Done. And then it's going to check me as well. We know it's whale because I remember that. So they gave me the same 4th password. Right. And here's where I can reset my Exodus password, which is dot, 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 dot. But effectively, now that we've done that, we've actually got a wallet that we can now use. And I can start looking at actually putting assets and stuff into this now. So how do I determine what I want? There's a lot of bits and pieces in here. Right, and in other places in the settings, you can actually tell it which ones you want, etc., and so on. So I can also just be really cheeky and go Doge, and here's Dogecoin. It is supported by this wallet. So if I click on here, right, and I say that I want to send Doge, I can't because I haven't got any. But I can click on I want to receive Doge. Now, see this right here, and there's your QR code. And by the way, I hate QR codes. Just a personal thing. Being an IT person, I hate them because I can't tell where they're actually pointing me. Right? They could be pointing me to somewhere totally different. I have to trust that it is actually pointing me to the right address. But that there is now a generated wallet on the Doge blockchain. Right? Because I have now created that. And that means I can send money to this wallet. So what I'm going to do is copy that. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to paste that in here. This is all for your viewing pleasure, people. And I'm going to save that because while Mark talks, I'm going to go to another screen and transfer some Doge. So
thanks.
There.
What am I talking about, Vince? What am I talking about?
All right, well, talk about multi-sig wallets and what's the difference between a multi-sig wallet and a normal wallet.
Multi-sig is in, I'm not sure if I know the 100% difference of the multi-sig wallet.
Multi-sig's where it requires more than one person to sign into the wallet before you can send any money.
Multi-signature wallet, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Multi-signature wallet.
So this I do know about. I'm just terrible. As I said on the other show, I'm terrible with jargon. I hate jargon. So multi-sig wallet is, we've got a question in here, is in the chat, is CoinSpot good? Yes, CoinSpot's okay. It's an Australian one. They would use a multi-sig wallet for you, though I think they may have also gone away from multi-sigs now. Though a multi-sig wallet is what you would have got on a CoinJar, a CoinSpot, any other exchange you buy coins on, basically, where they will, instead of having everybody on their platform with their own wallet and their own wallet address, they create one wallet and then they divide that. They basically kind of give you minor wallets within the major wallet. I'm not sure what the terms are that they use exactly on that one, but they can assign you and lots of other people coins on that wallet, and you would have to use when you send cryptocurrency to your wallet. Instead of just using your wallet address, you would use a wallet address, and then they would give you an extra little code, which signifies your place in that wallet. What that means is it's technically less secure. It means that you don't have your private keys to your wallet. So if something happened on the exchange and they went down and you wanted
voila.
to pardon?
And said, and voila.
There you go. That was quick.
10 Doge. Yep, done. So you
Doge
didn't even get a chance to Doge. But yeah, you didn't even get a chance to do it. So there we go. Well, I just sent 10 Doge, a whole $2.53 over here in minute seconds. Now, how much money did the bank get from that?
0.
Yeah, because they didn't. And what's more is that it's still receiving, which means it hasn't actually finished completely. All right, but this will pop up down the bottom here shortly and will give me a full link code.
And when people say
transaction addresses right there. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, when I was just going to say, when it hasn't finished, if people are seeing that in their wallet, and this happened to me a long time ago with Bitcoin, and you can start to kind of stress. So the good thing is now with that one is Doge turned up in your wallet. But say you did it with Bitcoin, and you've sent yourself some Bitcoin, and you see your wallet says it's receiving it, but it hasn't received it, and all you see is the spinning bars of doom, saying receiving, but you don't get it. What's going on in that point is the blockchain is reaching consensus. So the blockchain is checking with the rest of the blockchain, saying, is this transaction legitimate? And what happens with the Bitcoin blockchain is it banks up when it gets really busy and it gets slow. And that's what I think I'd said on Carl's show, that I once sent myself some Bitcoin and it took 2 weeks to get to me. And that's
Wow,
why.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. And because literally it was just I mean, maybe the wallet I had was old and the miners weren't being offered a lot of Bitcoin to crunch my numbers. But still, it took me 2 weeks to get my funds over to myself and for it to clear. And for that 2 weeks, I had to do some research, because I was spinning the spinning bar of doom for 2 weeks. And you're going, where's my money? And I had to go away and research and understand that my money's coming. It's just reaching consensus on the blockchain. It had nobody stolen it. I haven't lost it. But that's what's happening. So people will have that happen to them when they're sending coins. Hopefully it's the blockchains are getting faster now and better, so they're gonna not have that. But yeah, when you have your little circle going around, it's reaching consensus.
Yeah. So Bitcoin in its own right, in bull times when things are really busy, right, can tend to go very slow. And I know I waited one stage for 8 hours, so when you said 2 weeks I nearly fell over. But all right, so what actually just happened then was, from an outside wallet here, right, which I happen to have it happens to be on the Doge chain, I went and grabbed it from the Doge chain there, and I basically sent it to my new Doge account here, because I had sent the information of that Doge account from this wallet. So I knew the public address. So there's no fear of knowing a public address from a Bitcoin. It's the private information that can be a bit of a challenge, the private keys, etc. So, and then of course, Exodus checked in with the blockchain and filled out my screen here with my 10 Doge. I'm rich. Yay! No, sorry. But so that is how that actually works. And this is the whole transaction ID, where it was from. And I can literally look that up on what is called a blockchain explorer. We'll go into that another day, because we're already 59 minutes into this conversation. I know you and I could talk about this for hours, Mark, so we better be careful. Right? But there is somewhere within here, I'm just trying to remember where it is, where I can actually show you what you can actually export. Is it this one or another program where you can export your private keys?
Yeah, you can definitely. Yeah, I think it might be this one. I know when you go into this one, when you start trying to view your private keys on Exodus, it asks you about 3 or 4 times, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this?
All right, so there's my Doge. About videos. And if I want to send something, I just go to the send. Right, I would paste in the keys, and I will do that later from where this came from. And then I can choose whether I want to send it 10 Doge or whether I want to send it in dollar amount. Because we chose AUD, it allows us to do that option of choosing whether it's AUD or not. Now,
that's not what that is. Sorry, Vince. That's not what that is. That's just giving you that you're still sending Doge, but all that's giving you is, so to make it easier for your calculations on your side, it gives you your value in Australian dollars.
Yeah, sorry, I did not explain myself well. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, so it's the value of the Doge in dollars. Yes.
Yeah.
Now you'll notice down here there's a Doge network fee. It says 0, but it actually wasn't. There was a little bit of Doge taken out. You can see down the bottom here, the remaining balance says 9.80. So if I was to send my Doge away from here, it's going to cost me 0.2 of a Doge. Right, and whatever that equates to in dollars.
Which is pretty expensive for for one transaction on a blockchain. If you were going to multiply that over trillions of transactions, that would cost quite a pretty penny, and is an example of why Doge probably wouldn't be used to actually transfer money and real value on a blockchain.
Yeah.
But please continue.
No, you're right. You are correct in that. I'm trying to remember where it is that you can actually get access to. This is a brand new version. So backups, recovery phrase, reset.
Yeah, I was looking through mine the other night, and I was confused. I was like, oh, I haven't really looked at the new version that much. And I was like, oh, it's got a few different new options and things like that.
Yeah, well, it's taken away one that I was hoping to be able to use, which was to show the actual keys, but it doesn't appear to be there.
It won't even let you show your public, fair. That's interesting.
Add keys, ARC, private key, Nano private key. I'll click on ARC private keys. Warning, yeah, I'm sure. Unlock your wallet, so I need to go my password. ...
I've got your password now. You're in trouble, Vince.
Oh no! Holy crap! Okay, so here we have a private key and a public key. This is using the ARC account. So this one's been generated now on the internet. So somewhere on the ARC blockchain, I now have an account with this. It's got 0 in it, but I have an account with this. It's now registered on the blockchain. So this address here is the public address, right? This is telling the path relative, how much I've got in it, balance. And this one here is the private key that you don't normally see, right? Now, everybody, please take a copy of that, because that is going to be worth nothing, because I'm not putting anything in there. But theoretically, if I knew what it was, I could use that key along with the password, which is ... And we're going to get that joke's going to get old. But we could use that to access somebody's wallet. And I wanted to raise that because those, at the beginning when we did those seed phrases, right, we hadn't, I'm just going to close that off. We've had people, I talked about this before, where we had people go in there and say, I wonder if I can make that bigger for people to see. Well, let me just do that. Yes, it will. All right. So you're going to see comments like this now that you understand what seed phrases are about. You're going to get comments in this that says like, great content. Thanks for sharing. Oh, that's nice. Mind you, they never watched the show. They just pasted it into the chat. But just a quick off-topic subject question. I have an OKX wallet, which is one of the many types of wallets that you can get, that from each blockchain usually has their own wallet, right? But you've got wallets like what we've just shown you here, Exodus, that can hold a lot of different blockchain combinations, right? With USDT. And I have the seed phrase, light, joke, toast, great, just, adjust, unveil, salt, energy, gallery, pump, hockey, and fluid. Now, what did we just explain about seed phrases? All right, that we can use that to recreate the wallet that I've just created. So if I deleted that wallet right now off my computer, reinstalled it, I could re-import that seed phrase and get all my links back to all the wallets that have been created with that particular seed phrase and wallet combination. So what are they doing here? They're giving you the keys to the city, aren't they? There's $1,000 sitting there waiting to be taken. Is it? Well, I thought to myself, this is a bit weird. So I did a bit of a look around. And one of the other many crypto smarties out there went and did a video explaining that this is actually a scam. Because, and this is why I wanted Mark to explain about multi-sig wallets. OKX is a multi-sig wallet, which means it requires more than one person to be able to transfer money out of there, right? So more than one account, and those authorities are given to that wallet. So what happens is you create the wallet, you sign in, you give a password, you get in there, and there's $1,000 USDT, which is basically the same as $1,000 US, all ready for your taking. So you say, oh, beauty, I'm going to transfer that to my wallet. So you go to set up your wallet, and you go paste to transfer, and it comes back on and says, sorry, but not enough Tron or not enough BNB to do this transfer. This transfer is not allowed. So people go, oh, okay. So then they grab some of their Tron or their BNB coin and they throw it into the wallet. What do you think happens with the money they throw in so they can transfer the $1,000 out? Any guess?
It's gone. It's gone.
It's gone. The wallet set up to automatically transfer that money that came in out to another wallet. Now, honest people like myself and probably Mark would just delete this seed phrase and not worry about it. All right, because I'm not about to go steal somebody else's money. But those who are not so honest just got caught from their own dishonesty. Right? They just lost their own money because they were trying to steal somebody else's. It's a bit poetic in one way, right? But that's how the scammer works. And I mean, on the particular video I was watching, this guy had made like $40,000 or $50,000 doing this.
Wow. You wouldn't think there'd be that many people that like it even that would go, yeah, that I'm going to get in on this. Da, da, da. You just wouldn't think there'd be that many people that would buy it and go, okay, I'm going to try and get this. It's because it looks very scammy. Like, great content. Thanks for sharing. Like the way it's written and stuff. It's just like, has anyone else ever got a scam email before? That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just thought I would tell you that. Now, we've been going for 1 hour and 9 minutes. We should probably call this quits. And we still didn't even get to the next, to the idea of doing a MetaMask wallet.
Yeah, wow. Which is a little bit confusing, but worth
yeah. But so anyway, so this is an online desktop wallet. Is it the safest of wallets? Well, it's partially there. It has a password on it. You can also, in some of the wallets, you can also set up so that you have two-factor authentication, etc. So you need to be a little bit choosy on what you use. For those who don't understand what two-factor authentication is, a lot of you will be seeing it a lot nowadays when you transfer money from your bank account to somebody else and it sends you an SMS and says, enter this code. That's two-factor authentication. One, because you made the transfer from your computer, and two, you had to answer it from a second device, right? Two different devices, so two-factor. And that device that you're answering from is registered to you, so that helps with you not losing. There's also things like Google Authenticator app, etc. I have so many two-factor authentication things running on my phone that I think my phone's going to fall over. But anyway, so Mark, you got anything else that you want to talk about today?
Probably nothing that can't wait. There's nothing super duper important. Unless I'm not sure. I think we did
Crunchy
most of
Egg
it.
wants us to keep going, I think.
What else do you want? Maybe we could take a question from Crunchy 8 or something. What have we got? Any questions in the anybody want to know? Is there anything that anybody else out there wants us to talk about that or dive into something more that we've been speaking about that you just haven't quite got your head around that we could maybe clarify for you more?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, out of our 4 viewers, I'm sure we might get one question.
Yeah, it's sort of what wallet do I use? Well, I've got this Exodus wallet. That's my main wallet that I use. I've got my Ledger, which I just haven't actually put my stuff on yet. But yeah, I've used Exodus for a while. I was put onto that by some pretty sort of premier computer programmer people that I was speaking to back in the day that I got to talk to about what they were doing. And they said they were using this wallet and that it's extremely secure. Basically, out of all the online wallets, this would be their choice. The only other one that I would use is the other than this one at the moment is the Xaman wallet, which is XAMAN, and that's because Ripple themselves kind of back it. But yeah, this Exodus wallet is quite secure for an online wallet. You can't beat your cold wallet, offline wallet, your Ledger, your Trezor, those brands, because they're offline, they're cold. If you've got somewhere to store it and your house is safe, then your crypto's safe. But yeah, your Exodus wallet.
There's a picture for you right there. If you want to send me Doge, that's my public address right there, guys. Right? Just so that you know. And while we're here, and seeing I said I was going to empty the wallet, let's do that. Keep talking, Mark.
We've got more. What ledger do I use is another question we've got. The ledger I've got is the Ledger Nano X, which is they've got a few different versions of it. This one's got like an LCD screen, so you don't have to just plug it into your computer and read it. You can kind of tap into it yourself and look at what you've got. It all just depends how much money you want to spend when it comes to a Ledger Nano or a Ledger. I think, Vince, you had the cheaper ones on there for about $80, I think it said, and then they go up to a few hundred. It just depends how much you want to spend, what kind of technology and how easy you want to access everything.
Right. So here we are. There's once again, all you guys, if you want my Doge address, you want to send me some Doge, feel free. I mean, Mark will tell you it's worthless, but yeah. So feel free to send me as much as you want.
It all depends when you get into it, isn't it, really?
All right. So I could send half or I can send all. So I'm going to click send all. All right. And then I'm going to click send. Transactions are permanent. Right. Once confirmed, the transaction will be good. And this is true. This is why you need to make sure that address that you pasted in is the correct address. Because if you make one character mistake, look out. Right. Which is one of the things why I don't like QR codes, because you can't confirm it. And yeah, but
one of the good things on that, making that mistake, don't worry, guys, I've made all the mistakes for you, and I have made that mistake before where I've put in the wrong address. And luckily for me, the address that I put in didn't exist. So I'd put in a couple of one.
Just bounced.
Yeah, it just bounced. It literally just comes back and says that address doesn't exist. So if you get lucky, you might pick one that doesn't exist. But if you get really unlucky, you might pick one that does exist, and it's gone. Which is why the QR codes are quite good when it comes to this. I hate QR codes too in general life, but when it comes to this stuff, it's pretty good because the QR code's produced by the app, by the wallet itself, so it's legitimate, and it doesn't stuff up. When it scans it properly, it gets everything correct every time, and that it's going to the right place.
Yeah. So I will try and figure out how to get the private keys out of here next time, as a bit of an example. But here we are. I haven't sent it yet, right? But you can see it's 9.808 Doge. It's going to that address. The network fee for this is going to be 0.192 of Doge, right? Which is worth about 5 cents. Right. This is where the people who manage all the computers that do all the transaction ledgering, this is where they make their money, right? While in the banks, if I transferred money through Osco right now to Mark, right, we wouldn't get any charge at all. Zero charge. Why? One has to ask, how come? Why do these guys need to make money on a blockchain, and yet we can get that same transfer in Australian dollars between each other for free? Anybody got an answer for that?
Well, is it free?
Yeah. Well, what constitutes a taxable event when using your
Yeah,
wallet?
I saw that question. I was just letting you go. I was going to say, if you want to answer that,
We're not touching that one, not at all, because I have to R&D that a bit more.
Yeah, I can kind of answer it a little bit later. Maybe we won't do it tonight. I can give you a short answer, but it's only because I've looked up the tax stuff myself to learn the laws myself. That's the only reason I was looking at it. But what they used to say was a taxable event was any transaction where you go from cryptocurrency back into the Aussie dollar. They would call that a taxable event. Though the tax agency in Australia clamped down on it a hell of a lot more, and they want to tax every trade, every swap, everything you do with cryptocurrency. So from my research,
however, somebody took them to court over that and they lost.
That's what I was going to say. We could get it. That's going to be for another show where we talk about the Bitcoin ruling, where we might get tax-free Bitcoin or tax-free cryptocurrency in the future because of this rule.
But they didn't want to advertise that one all over. Yeah, but anyway. So getting back to that, right? This is the whole system. Now, if I click send, bye. It's gone. And I'm not showing you the other screen that shows you arriving. So bad luck. But now you can see I have 0 Doge in there. All right. And it says that it's sending. So that's now going out to the blockchain, going on the ledger, being authorized by all the computers around the world. And the transaction is complete. Now,
and hopefully people see that this isn't as scary as what they might have thought it was. That's probably one takeaway that I want people to have from this is that, this was kind of simple. It was just a couple of buttons and we sent money across the world.
Yeah. Once I found out how to get back into the new setup on the wallet, but yeah. Right. It is actually very simple to do that. Now, why the government doesn't like this is because you can actually just send money here, there, everywhere. Well, sorry, you don't actually send money. You send a digital ID token or a digital coin to anywhere you want. To actually make it money that you can spend in the real world, you have to go through an exchange like CoinSpot, sell your Bitcoin or Doge and get it transferred into Australian dollars. You can then use to buy. Unless, of course, your hairdresser takes Bitcoin or takes Doge or takes XRP. Now, the minute these organizations start taking this, right, like the very first pizza place that took 40 Bitcoin or 40,000 Bitcoin for 40,000. Yeah, man. 40,000 Bitcoin at 106,000 USD. Wow. Anyway, but, unless you start actually receiving payment, how can it be tracked? Nobody knows that I've done this ledger to that ledger, right? That transfer of money I did between myself. If the Australian Tax Department was looking at it, who did the transfer to and where did it come from? And then it went back again. Who was that person's or people? How do they know? Because it's just a big code, right? They would literally have to find another way of tying my name, other than the fact that it's all over video with the code, with the ID. But they'd have to find another way of tying and that's why governments don't like digital currency in that respect, because they can't track it enough.
Yeah. They can track it, but they would, if they were going to do that to you, they would have to really show their hand and show that they're looking into your life in probably many illegal ways that they shouldn't be looking into your life. That's they can get you, but yeah, they would have to really show their hand and be like, oh, we've done all these illegal things to catch you sending $20 worth of Bitcoin to somebody. It's a bit ridiculous.
Sent in 27 minutes.
And one of the if we've got XLM and XRP holders out there, one of my comments I suppose before about that Doge transaction being quite expensive, 5 cents, that's pretty expensive. The XLM and the XRP will do it for a fraction of a cent, and is why they will be why they'll be going strong in the future.
Yep. Yeah, there's other ones around there like that as well. It's not Ethereum. Electronium is like that. Digibyte, which has been around for years.
Yeah, Digibyte. I used to have Digibyte, but I sold it.
Yeah, I still have some.
Good on you. That'll probably go pretty well.
Right.
Yeah.
But that is sort of that. And there is a lot of other bits and pieces that are involved in this. And I'll spend some time looking back through this new wallet. The trouble is that when you're not a day-to-day trader and you're just holding the coins. What's the hodl? Hodl, that's the word I was looking for. A hodler.
Hold on for dear life.
Yeah, holding on for dear life. You don't tend to spend a lot of time in there, so these updates sometimes catch you on the hop. So that's it from that one there, and now Exodus. Now we'll leave that there. I mean, feel free to deposit any money in that account. You have no idea what the password was ... Couldn't resist. But yeah. And next week, I think we'll try and continue on with a bit more of that and give you some extra news, providing, of course, the world hasn't gone kaboom.
Yeah, it's starting to get scary, isn't it? It's
yeah.
I'm starting to question the Donald Trump things going on now. It's like, Jesus, what's he doing? But anyway.
So what do XRP and XDC and HBAR have in common with the AUDD? Will they be running on all three?
Technically, no. Well, AUDD is it's not officially like in Australia, like by the what do you call it?
It's not controlled by the government.
Yeah, it's not controlled by the government. It's a private thing that there's I'm not sure what the company's called. I can't remember what it was. But they're the ones that are printing it, or bringing it into the world. But XDC, XRP, HBAR. So far, HBAR is the one that's running on, is what AUDD will be running on, and they have supposedly. I've seen reports. You don't know how real these things are when you see them on the internet, but I've seen reports that XRP and HBAR were the ones that were being looked at and XLM were the ones that were being looked at for the Australian blockchain from the government. But no, the AUDD will only run on HBAR at the moment because it's its private thing and it's been announced for HBAR. That'll definitely help HBAR price eventually, but we won't see real price with these things move until we see real world utility. When we see real world utility, then we'll see it start moving, because it's all speculation at the moment. That's what's driving Bitcoin. Don't be so worried that Bitcoin's gone to 100 grand. It's speculation. It doesn't do anything. It really is just a store of wealth. So your AUDD, XDC, XRP. XDC is going to do some stuff. If you got some money on the sidelines and you're looking at probably buying 3 or 4, XRP, XDC, HBAR, XLM are probably my top 4 coins.
Okay. The one thing also about stable coins that just to clarify, a stable coin when married to a currency means that it's going to be one of those coins is worth one of the currency. So in this case, it's $1 for 1 HBAR or whatever. It's not actually a HBAR. What are they calling the new coin?
AUDD. They're calling it the Australian Digital Dollar.
Okay, AUDD. Yeah. So the Australian Digital Dollar is worth, one of those is worth $1, and it's a good way of holding without transferring back into actual physical dollars. If the tax department has succeeded in every time you transferred to Australian dollars, they were going to tax you, that would hurt. But if you transferred from one digital currency to another digital currency, which they also tried to, but we'll get into that's another story. you would be able to basically transfer into a digital thing like USDT or AUDD, and it's a digital transfer. So it never hits the taxable Australian dollar part. And then later you might go, right, now I've got this much, right, and I'm going to go and buy some more digital currency from that store of dollars. The disadvantage to stablecoin is that it is tied to the fiat currency. And as we all know, the fiat currency is in free fall. So, right, what was worth one AUDD, which was, you could go and buy a chocolate bar for $1. Now you get half a chocolate bar for $1. Just saying.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to be interesting how it works, because they're going to tie it all to debt. They're going to the way they're going to print or bring money into the system and print these, or I shouldn't say print, create these stable coins, is by buying debt with them. They're going to buy, in the US, they're going to buy US debt. In Australia, I assume these things are going to buy Australian debt, and they'll be doing it with the treasuries and bonds. So it'll be short-term treasury, short-term bonds, where they're having to get their yield back within in a short period of time. So I'm not, it's a really good question. How does hyperinflation affect the value that's backing a digital dollar or a stable coin? That's going to be a really good question. I think the thing that gives XRP, XLM, HBAR value is the fact that every time a stable coin is processed in any way on that blockchain, in XRP's case, it burns XRP. So it's deflating the supply of XRP, therefore making XRP price
more valuable, which is why Bitcoin was valuable, because there's a limited number. There's only 21 million of them. There's a Crunchy 8. I would buy some crypto from coins if they are backed with gold coins. Thoughts on this, Mark and Vince?
I can answer this one.
Go for it, Mark.
So I think the best question to ask yourself when saying I'm going to buy a coin that's backed by gold or backed by silver or whatever metal, let's say gold, you would ask yourself, what if it's backed by gold, what gives the coin itself value? And people would say it's the gold, right? You go, okay. So why not just buy gold?
Yeah.
That's what the value is. The value in gold. So the value in tokenizing gold, and that's what I tried to explain before, I think a little bit, where on Carl's show possibly, but they're not gonna back these coins by gold. They're gonna tokenize the gold and run that and allow you to trade the gold via the blockchain. Yeah. And the gold will give the blockchain value only because of the transactions that are on the blockchain. It's not the gold doesn't back the blockchain itself. It just allows the gold to be traded. And it's not only just allowing gold to be traded, it allows everything to be traded. So they can tokenize anything in the world and put it on the blockchain. So it's not backed by gold, it's not backed by silver, it's not backed by anything. The thing that gives the blockchain its own value is its utility, is what it can do. And that's don't worry about, you're going to see tokenized gold, you're going to see tokenized silver, but it's going to just be basically, I think it's going to be like bullion companies and stuff that have big stores. They're going to be able to say, okay, we can sell you this amount of gold and it is accounted for on the blockchain.
Correct. So like Ainsley Bullion. They
Yeah,
do
so
that.
they're not. So they can't
have
derivatize. They can't derivatize the gold and say we've sold it. We've given you an ounce, but they've really sold 5 ounces to the other bloke down the road, and they've made a
your
bullshit.
ounce happens to be part of that ounce, 5 ounces we sold.
Right.
That is the trap, and that's where you have to trust places. You know, like Ainsley Bullion, guarantee that if you've bought one of their tokenized pieces of gold, that the gold is in their safes waiting for you, and you can walk in at any time and transfer it and get the gold in your hand.
Yep,
So
and that's
good.
what tokenized. Yeah, that's tokenized gold. That's not gold backed blockchain. That's tokenized gold
on a blockchain.
On a blockchain. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing, but yeah, that's what the thing that gives these things value, the blockchain's value, is their utility. It's what they do, and that's why when the argument comes for Bitcoin, people say, "Well, what gives it value?" It's like technically speculation. It doesn't do anything. Bitcoin could have been any coin out there because they could have driven any coin to $100,000, and then it could have held its value just because people were speculating on it. But it doesn't. Its utility doesn't do anything. Like I said before, it can take 2 weeks for me to get value from one place to another, which isn't going to do anything for anybody in the 2025.
Yeah, but with Bitcoin, it is the gold of the whole race. But you've got. I saw one the other day where they were talking about this new blockchain they're testing. It's only doing something like well over 1 million transactions per second.
Yeah, wow.
See,
that's the scalability. That's what they're talking about with XRP and XLM, that they can scale them. Anyway. Yeah,
we're hearing lots of rumors. I think XRP is actually starting to make a run. For all those XRP people who are out there who are fans, not mentioning Mark by name, right? There could be a bit of a windfall. As I said last week, I missed out on that nice little windfall, but never mind. Effectively, guys, we've been going for an hour and 34.
Yeah, we should give you a break.
We need to give you guys a break. I'm pretty sure we got 11 people. Hello, 11 people.
Thanks for spending Saturday night, guys.
Yeah, spending Saturday night. Yeah, sorry, Pete, you came in a bit late, mate. I did say hello for you today. I also posted up a link. Where is it? There. Let me show that. Right, merch.vofhq.com. And that is relative to this. Right, $2 lottery, chance to win $750 in good old Australian cash. And of course, a reasonable percentage of the money that doesn't go to you, that's left over, is going to the Donkey Sanctuary, which is one of the charitable organizations. So this is really a win-win. We're going to start a whole thing with the red kangaroo, right? That it's going to happen. But this is the wonderful Donkey Sanctuary here, right? The beauty about this is it's a win-win-win situation, right? So we're hoping that through this that we can raise funds for the Donkey Sanctuary, get things going there. Some luckily person who's in that lottery, which is a 1 in 750, or if everyone bought 10 tickets, a 1 in 75 chance of winning $750, will be very happy, all right, for as little as $2. And then it's a bit of a win for Carl, so he can actually live a bit and get the bus back on the road. And hopefully I can get the fees for all the hosting that I've been paying for out of my pocket for the last 4 years to be covered as well. That'd be nice. So, right, you guys think that we do all this for free, but we have to pay money for all this stuff. So it's a win-win-win situation. And the best part I like about it is just being able to say, hey, Mark, you haven't bought a ticket. No. Mark.
I'm not allowed to.
You aren't actually, because you're in a show with me. So, no, you can't. You're considered part of the crowd, so you can't. But, or is that you're not allowed to because the missus wouldn't allow you? No, either or. But effectively, right, I'm looking forward to be able to say, hey, you just won $750. Go out in the town and enjoy yourself. Or now that electricity bill is paid for, and considering my electricity bill for this month, even though I'm on a really good plan, was nearly $590. Right. I have a lot of computer gear, right? Most of it which runs 24/7. But it's just being able to do that and then be able to go and send some money off to the donkey sanctuary so that they can feed the animals, pay for the vet, doing that sort of stuff, right? And also probably keep Stripe in business because they like to charge their fee per transaction. So, as I said in the show the other night, the best way is to buy a bulk number of tickets in one hit. Just scroll the number from 1 to 2 to 3 to 5 or whatever, because it's less money we get charged from Stripe, which means there's more money available for the donkey sanctuary. I like that option. But anyway, so we need to work out some sort of catchphrase to end this show, because at this stage, we're now 1 hour, 40 minutes into it. I'll just go and check the comments. Mark's wife and Vince. Oh, well, it's family. So
Yeah.
no, it's
I'll
excluded.
keep everyone out of this. Give you guys a chance to win.
Right.
And
email me the advert. I will pin Pinaroo and Lamoureux. Yeah, no worries, Pete. I'll see if I can find them for you. Those ones that just came through from Carl. He made them at 2 a.m. this morning. He woke up at 2 a.m. for some stupid reason.
There's one other comment in here from J11. Tokenized debt. Yes. We're going to talk about that in the future too. Tokenized debt.
Oh, that'll be an interesting subject.
Yeah, that's going to add a lot of value to these ledgers. But yeah.
Indeed. So, once upon a time, the old two Ronnies would say, and it's good night from me. And
it's good. And it's good night from me. Is that what they used to say?
And it's good night from me. And the other one say, and it's good night from him.
It's good night from him. I nearly said it. It's good night from you.
Well, you would have been close. Yeah, you would have been almost there, mate. It just shows the 20 years of difference in culture there, right? I still cannot believe that you are as old as you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Quick poll chat. I don't think anybody knows. How old do you think Mark is?
What do you reckon?
In the chat. Come on, guys, quickly. Hey, anybody? Anybody?
Most people get it wrong. Though I think we're giving them a clue. I think they'll start to go, oh, it's probably it's not what we think then.
Oh, he's under 40. All right. Is he? That is the question. 38 from Margot. Crunchy 8 says under 40.
Good. They're pretty close.
Not bad. I would have thought, me personally, I'm thinking 28, 29, so I'm way off the ball. But
no, they're doing good.
Right, guys. We're going to put our heads together and maybe we might set up a donation of a small amount of crypto. I don't have much, so I'm going to probably donate a small amount of crypto to somebody in the show at some stage, just for the fun of it.
Good stuff.
All right. We'll pick somebody at random and say, if you got a crypto address, send it to me. It'll be, I don't use ETH because I don't like transferring in ETH because it costs a bloody fortune. So, but happy to use another type of coin. Sorry? XRP. Yeah. XRP. I'll do XRP. Yeah. I can do XRP because I bought some more.
It's cheap. It's really cheap. It's the cheapest one to send. And it's the fastest. But anyway.
I don't know if it's the fastest, but it's definitely very quick. Anyway, guys, we'll leave it with you. Thank you for sticking with us, two idiots. We're just going to, we don't care if we don't get any viewers. We just like talking. All right. So it's great. So next week, if all goes well, we'll have us back on around 6 p.m. South Australian time, 6:30 in the other parts of the country. And hopefully by that time, Mark has got a keyboard for his computer as well as a mouse working, instead of having to do it with his finger. Right?
We'll figure it out. I'll have to learn how to use all that stuff properly too.
Yeah, we'll make him a streamer and teach him something yet. So, all right. So with that, guys, all I can say is that we will leave it with you, and I'm going to go to our one that says media assets up here and show that just one more time because I think it's really, really worth it.
It's awesome.
And there's a whole story about the donkeys and the cross on the back and everything from last night's show. Go look up Voice of Freedom's Friday Night Free for All and have a look at that. So you'll get more information there. But from there, guys, all I can say is we'll catch you later. Say bye, Mark.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.